I just watched this for the first time the other day on Monday, which I thought was a Sunday. I don't know if you saw me post about that.
I did.
This
see
is
that,
probably
yeah.
coming out way afterwards, but yeah, at the time of this recording on Monday, I had to push my episode back a day because I got copyright claimed, and that just reset my brain, and I spent all day thinking it was Sunday.
Yeah, he kept saying Sunday, and I was like, I could tell him it's Monday, but I'm gonna just let this.
I think I did text someone asking how their weekend's going, and I'm realizing now, I'm like, why did they ever correct me?
Tony's drunk again.
He has a clown job. He doesn't know what day it is. Anyway, so I watch it all in one day.
Yeah.
It's a prequel about how Winston met Sharon and took control of the Continental. And usually I hate prequel shit or think it's unnecessary. However, I had a lot of fun with this series. Where did you land on this series?
Wow, I'll say this. I really struggled through the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
But I did think it picked up in 3.
Okay.
And it made me compare the efficiency of John Wick, where they do all the setup in about 5 minutes, and then you're into the action. This show, it's 3 episodes. So I said in episode 3 it picked up. But every episode's about an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
So it's basically like saying John Wick 1, not great. 2, not great, but really picks up in the 3rd. But basically, I found that, first off, there's very little action in the show.
Yeah, which I actually didn't mind.
I don't mind
for this type of story.
Yeah, especially the story you're telling. It's not about John Wick. It's about, like you said, Winston.
Yeah.
Where his skill has never been about fighting. It's been more about, he turns the charm on. He talks his way into and out of situations, and you see a little bit of that, but I don't feel like you get that much. And okay, in lieu of action, what we're looking for is character, and I feel like most of the characters are super cliched. The dialogue is so clunky. Well, even just, so it's basically Winston and his brother Frankie.
Yeah.
And it's the classic, like, Winston, I never wanted you to be a part of this life.
Yeah,
I
okay.
tried so hard.
It is a little cliche.
And some of the dialogue is so bad.
Yeah.
One guy gets a new pair of glasses, and the other guy goes, new glasses? I didn't know we were having a handsome contest. Or, okay, here's the level of metaphor we get. Not that the John Wick movies have ever been about subtlety. But there's this one lady who's been dealing with a lot of problems.
Yes.
She gets to the hotel, and they go, any baggage? Yeah, a whole lot of it.
Cool. I like it.
Oh, my favorite one was, so I referenced this earlier. I don't know if you
Okay.
picked up on it.
Okay.
But when you were talking about the guns here, and I was like, why does a video rental store need an armory anyway? But one character literally asks, the Continental has an armory. And he says, why would a hotel for hitmen have an armory? And it's not meant as a joke. It was like a serious question.
Yeah, that is a weird thing.
That gets addressed.
Oh, okay. There is one character who's the wacky dialogue guy. He sucks.
Yeah, he was the handsome contest
Okay,
guy.
yeah. So I know people like, for some reason they highlight the MCU when they do this, but most action, like most franchises, they'll always make fun of like, so that just happened.
Yeah.
He's that guy like incarnate. He was the worst part of the show. But no, I actually, as much as you didn't dig it, I dug it a lot. Even if it was cliche, I guess I just didn't know what to expect going in, and I'm usually annoyed with prequel shit. But it didn't do anything weird prequel wise. Like,
That's
okay,
true.
Winston had a brother who went to Vietnam, came back all different. They grew up, raised like kind of like working for this guy for the Continental. Bad things happen. Cormac, played by Mel Gibson.
Find him, because if you don't, I'll bring the weight of this whole institution down on you both.
Yeah, so I kind of like the backstory with Winston there. We learn a little bit more about Sharon. Apparently he's gay. That's new. Didn't expect that. They never outright say it though.
Yeah, but there's a
because Mel
like,
Gibson's in this show, so they never outright say it.
You're gonna cut that scene, all right?
Yeah, he's like in love with a cellist, or maybe they're just really good friends. Again, the show leaves it up to your imagination, but it's pretty clear where they want your imagination to go. So yeah, there's nothing like stupid, like Winston is John Wick's dad, or Mel Gibson bred the dog that ended up like there's nothing really bad with that, and even like the high table stuff isn't annoying.
No, like, and I mentioned like, there is some stuff I liked in the show, and I did say like it's all set up for what happens in episode 3.
Yeah,
which I did enjoy a lot of that. Like those little lines, those little world building lines, like the Continental, the high table's been around since before the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
I know I keep bringing that up, but I love secret society
No,
stuff.
that's,
so
cool. That's cool. Like,
like-
they didn't introduce anything like new to the high table. They just gave us a little bit more information about them.
Yeah.
The MacGuffin of this is the coin press.
Yeah, which even that, I'm like, that's cool. That's just a cool little detail. Like, you need that coin press to make those gold coins, and if you steal it, that's really bad.
Yes.
Even the way they steal it was cool.
But yeah, that opening heist was a lot of fun. How he had like the cable that ripped the door off the thing.
Yeah.
That was cool.
By attaching it to a subway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was cool shit. Although a little bit of a continuity error here. I guess maybe that one gun was really strong because the one guy gets shot, shoots through the ceiling, which hits all the people in the nightclub above. But then later on in another episode, someone comes in and Winston throws over a tiny wooden table and it's blocking all the bullets. It's like, well, what the fuck? How effective are bullets in this universe? I did appreciate his brother died in like the first episode.
Yeah, which was unexpected.
Yeah.
And like, it felt kind of like comically, it wasn't pointless.
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm going to let myself get killed.
Yeah.
So the high table stops going after you guys.
Yeah.
And he gave them back the coin press, but it turns out he didn't give it back.
Yes.
So they're still going after Winston and all of them.
Yeah.
So him dying basically gave them a chance to escape in that moment, but they're still after them.
But then, like, when you know the ending, it really makes Winston look bad. So yeah, Mel Gibson, he really needs the coin press back because now he looks bad. So he's like trying to send people after them. I do like where he's like, let's ask one of our guests if they can handle it. Give me one of the weird ones. And what's his face? It's just like, huh? He's like, that's right, they're all weird. How about the twins?
Yeah, Hansel and Gretel or whatever they call themselves.
Yeah, those twins are so creepy. The one's like contortionists.
Yeah, every time you see her, she's just in like a weird position. Like for some reason, she's doing a split on like a love seat.
Yeah. And the
but-
other guy's hair is just real upsetting.
But they're an example to me of the clunkiness of this show.
Okay.
Where he's like, get me the weirdos. You know, okay, they're going to build them up as these really formidable foes they're going to have to face.
Yeah.
And all you see them do is shoot at them with a sniper. And I'm like,
Well-
that's not that. And they look a little creepy.
Well, the one girl, like, she thinks she got all mangled, but she was a contortionist. She puts herself back together.
That's true. Does that happen in episode 1, though?
No.
Yeah, I was
episode
gonna say
3.
it's like that's the kind of setup you could have done.
Yeah.
So by the time you get to episode 3, you're like, okay, they're finally gonna face off against the twins.
Yeah. There's another subplot with the one girl who owns the dojo.
Right. Well, that's another thing. I'm
Yeah.
like, what's this subplot about? They're trying to take her dojo away.
Which is funny because that happened in Roadhouse.
Oh, yeah, that's
Another
right,
girl,
yeah.
it's like, my dad started. Are they just grabbing plot like devices or like just like synopsis from like a thing?
Yeah, it felt like they felt like they really needed to fill out the time. And
Yeah.
like TV shows usually aren't an hour and a half long. You guys
Yeah.
can make it 40
Yeah.
minutes and it's okay.
But I did like the backstory with that, where it turns out her dad was an assassin. And
like
that's how they got all that stuff.
Yeah, I like the backstory.
Mm.
I don't like the way everyone's backstories in this show are basically told in monologues.
Yeah.
Like, so what's your story? And then like 2 minutes later, they're both in tears.
Yeah.
And it creates that cognitive dissonance of I'm not feeling anything of what the characters are feeling on screen. And I had a quote here, I wrote it down, but I lost it. But I think it was Chad Stahelski where he talked about how little dialogue they have in the movies.
Yeah.
He's like, we don't want to waste time on monologues. And I'm like, they didn't get that note for the Continental.
However, I will say, you said lack of action. That the opening of the first episode is pretty good. So they show like if you start shooting on Continental grounds, they have like the red lights. They're like, "Hey, someone's attacking the Continental. You're allowed to conduct business. Kill this guy." And it comes back again in the third episode.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun to see. Like, what are the rules here?
Yeah, those are some of the cool details where, yeah, you can turn on these red
Yeah.
lights throughout the hotel to indicate temporarily you're allowed to kill right now.
Yeah, and I think it's for situations like this. If
Yeah.
someone goes rogue or if it's being attacked, like you're allowed to do this. But the action overall I thought was pretty good in this. I love the violence in this. I love that Mel Gibson knows he can't kill people. So he convinces the guy to jump out the window, and you just see him splatter in the background as Winston's going in. He's like, oh, okay.
I was on board for the first episode for a good portion of it.
Yeah.
Like, that was a great scene. Like, they set him up, Cormac, as such a great villain.
Yes.
He's like, yeah, I can't kill you on Continental grounds, but you do have a family, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then when Winston's walking in, you just, like you said, you see him splat
Yeah.
in the background.
Mel Gibson's great. As
really
a person, we agree with everything he's ever said, right, Gil?
Oh, wait a minute. I had something prepared for this. Please note that the views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and do not reflect my own. I am not responsible for any statements made by others or myself during this recording.
Why don't you like Mel Gibson? What's he ever done? But I think that kind of helps Mel Gibson knowing that he's kind of an asshole in real life. So when he plays an asshole, it's really good.
He was basically the best part of this show.
He really was.
He was the only one they set up as someone you can really be afraid of.
Yeah.
I felt real tension in the scene with the cellist where he's like, play a song for me.
Oh, you know exactly what's going to happen with that because he's jealous that the cellist tempted Sharon to leave. Didn't succeed.
Right.
He's just mad that he tempted it. And then he's going to punish Sharon. He's like, yeah, your dad's a cellist. Or like a violinist. I'm going to have him come up here. And he's just like, oh, please don't do that.
It was a bit convenient that Winston's like, we need Sharon on our side.
Yeah.
How do we get him to turn on Cormac?
No.
Cut to Cormac killing the cellist.
It kind of worked itself out, didn't it? You were mentioning earlier, like I guess the one thing this does introduce is the magic drug that makes you strong, I guess.
Yeah, when the doctor, I think in 3, gives John that injection, he's like, your stitches are going to open and you're going to bleed, but you'll be able to do your John Wick killing stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, I guess this is the origin of that then.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was weird. I like the little heist team put together to take over the Continental. They have the sniper, the really polite sniper. He's my favorite.
He was funny, yeah.
Yeah, so they have the sniper who poses as an exterminator to get a better view of the Continental. And, like, he takes over this old lady's apartment, but, like, he thinks she's going to be gone, and then she shows up. He's like, so he ties her up, and he's making her comfortable. He's like, I'm really sorry I have to do this.
You have very nice plants here. If you'd like me to come back, free of charge, of course, I can help you.
Yeah. Really, really nice. There's the wacky guy who sucks. Then there's like the brother and sister karate kids. I kept calling them. They have their own subplot with the one like Asian dude who wants to destroy them.
Yeah,
the
that was
Korean guy. Yeah.
In terms of just like clunky backstory and dialogue, she refuses to use guns because her father did, and she's like, with hand-to-hand weapons, you have a choice, life or death. Guns, you have no choice, only death. Like in this franchise, where people get shot all the time and get back up, it just doesn't ring very true.
Yeah, it really, well, it hadn't happened yet.
That's true. I guess John Wick they didn't invent the bulletproof armor yet. So like,
no, not yet.
Okay, in the 70s, guns always kill. One shot kill.
And I like that this whole thing is basically like, well, by the way, there's a new adjudicator.
That's true.
Katie, I guess an old one. Katie McGrath plays her.
Right.
You might remember her from Supergirl.
Okay.
Lena Luthor. Yeah. You might actually remember her as the babysitter who got eaten in Jurassic World and had that super violent death. For no reason.
That like scarred me, that scene.
Yeah. I talked about it before. I'm like, that's a cool idea for a death. It's just usually reserved that for like a bad guy.
Yeah. But
like not just the kind of annoying nanny or whatever.
How dare she care more about her upcoming wedding than a couple of brats she was asked to watch for a couple of hours.
So she's in this as the adjudicator and she has like the mask. Okay, so we know that she's deformed, but we don't know how. And then we learn how deformed she is at the very end where she gets killed. And I saw her mouth and I went, how was she talking this whole time? Because she doesn't have lips. She's talking very precisely.
Yeah. It's like when you see like a stop motion skeleton where the jaw is just like doing this.
Yeah.
But somehow he's like forming words.
Yeah, it doesn't make... Like, hold on. Hi, Gov, how are you? That's how she should sound the whole time.
Well, we didn't see the inside of the mask. Maybe it had like rubber lips on the inside.
I'll get the fuck out of here.
They should have had me in the writer's room. Cut out all that stupid dojo stuff. Let's get into the mask.
Yeah, but Cormac, right? Cormac?
Cormac, yeah.
Yeah. I love that he realizes he's fucked and he's like, fuck it. I just want them all to die. He starts killing people on the ground. He's about to blow up the Continental. He's about to like, what is it, like weaken the steel beams to crush it all down? And
they have like a Latin phrase for it. And like the guy in the room with him is like, oh, this does not call for like Invictus to turn, whatever the word is. And he's like, whatever, I don't care.
He fucking kills that guy. I love that there's an escape pod that's like a little train underneath. That's cool. But yeah, so the reason Winston is doing all this is because you're right. They don't have the coin press. Like, I don't know where the fucking coin press is. They're going to keep hunting us until we find the coin press. So that's why he's doing all this. He's like, I have to kill Cormac.
Well, he says, I have to kill Cormac. And then he goes, but it's not as simple as taking out Cormac. We still got to deal with the Continental.
Yeah.
A takeover of the whole hotel. Look, he didn't say that. I feel like you read so much into what he just said. But to me, that was just some of the clunky dialogue.
Okay. I was
How are we supposed to believe a guy in an ascot could pull this off?
Yeah, they really are on him about the ascot. I'm like, it's the 70s. People wore ascots in the 70s. Fucking relax.
But yeah, they have to kill Cormac.
Yeah.
And then you have to take over the hotel or else they're going to keep coming after that.
Yes. Because again, they would love to hand over the coin press, but they can't. We also see the origin of the homeless pigeon people.
Oh, yeah. What did we see with that? I forget.
There's like a lady who's in charge of them.
Oh,
and she's
yeah.
like, these guys work for me.
Yeah, I don't want money. I want love.
Yeah. She's like, you have to tell me your story and everything. Like, and they show them like downstairs, like building like stuff. So that's the origin. I guess like you have to do like little origin stuff. So we got that at least. But
we also saw the cleanup guy that John calls to clean up all the bodies in the first movie. Yeah, so he's like a friend of Winston's father or something.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, we get to see this fun, exciting action scene where they're taking out all the assassins at the end. One girl gets blown up with C4. That was cool.
Oh yeah, she kind of just like popped.
Yeah,
there was like no explosion. She just like turned into blood.
It was pretty cool. And then friggin' Winston kills the adjudicator because he wants a meeting with the high table, I guess.
Yeah.
He's like, I know how to get their attention. Boom, it just blows her away. What did you think about the twist with the coin press at the end? I thought that was great.
I thought it was fine. I don't know.
I thought it was great that Winston could have solved this at any point.
Yeah.
At any point, it could have been over. But he's like, yeah, but you know what? Because he is trying to like manipulate people out of their money. That's what he was doing in the beginning. When he was like secretly sleeping with the guy's wife and they put in like a whole act. So he had the coin press the entire time.
Yeah, it was in the, well, maybe I'm dumb and I misunderstood this, but did you read it as Winston knew where it was the whole time? Because I read it as him realizing, wait a minute, it's in the place where, you know, you'd never expect to look. And it was like him and his brother used to sleep in a trunk when they were kids. And that's where it ended up being.
No, I think he knew where. Or maybe he figured it out after the death. No, I think he knew about it ahead of time. I think he knew about it ahead of time. I think he's the one who put the little monkey giving the finger in the case.
Yeah.
So yeah, he had it the whole time. He gives it to the underground people to make the coin. So now that's their job.
Oh, yeah.
And he basically manipulated all of this so he could take over the Continental and be fine. Like, I guess he also wanted revenge on his brother. And I even like the subplot because there was like the lady detective who's like sleeping with the married guy.
Yeah, the one with a lot of baggage.
Yes, and she's like trying to like get into this world, and she has that burn. And it took me a minute to be like, what's like her purpose in all this? And you find out like when Winston was young, he was ordered by Cormac to throw a cocktail into a building, but didn't know people were in it, and she's that girl, and he's got to like convince her to spare him, so she kills Cormac. It was like a whole thing.
Yeah, he burned her entire family alive.
Yeah. And his brother took the fall for it. Right. So there was like a whole thing. No, I love the whole ending where Winston just kind of played everyone. I'm like, all right, that feels very Winston to me. I kind of like this. And the guy who's playing him, I feel like he does feel like a young version of that character.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job. And I thought you don't really see much of Sharon in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
But in the third one, when him and Winston are playing off each other. Yeah, I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, overall, I think the show works. When it comes to spin-offs and prequels, they're more miss than hit for me, but this one was fine.
Yeah.
And I felt a little bit more grounded, too.
That's true.
Yes.
It did feel more grounded.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about the soundtrack. I liked
all
the 70s
Oh, God,
music.
yeah, the soundtrack was great. Sorry,
Yeah.
the soundtrack was great. Like, this, of all the 70s music, they're picking some pretty good bangers that I listened to.
Yeah. There was like some Pink Floyd stuff I used to listen to that shows up.
That was my favorite. I'm like, oh, nice. Yeah, there is music playing like almost constantly throughout this thing.
That's like where the budget of the show went. Like instead of fight scenes, they're like, what if we had a lot of music?
Yeah.
Which was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for me, like about 30 to 40% of the show worked. So, you know.
I would see a season 2.
Yeah.
There's a lot you could do there. I love how dirty New York looks.
Yeah, they do like, it wasn't just the music, also the look of the show.
Yeah.
They do the period piece aspect of it well.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if they're planning on doing another season or anything, but
Yeah, my impression is that it's a one and done, but
okay. But so far, this is fine. It probably would have worked better as a shorter movie.
yeah, I agree with that.
Yes.
I do think there was enough good stuff in there. I like the concept of it.
And they didn't go overboard on the prequel stuff. There
Yeah.
weren't like younger versions of character other than the
Well, like,
few.
and if there are, they don't like point at it. You know, it's
Yeah.
just like there.
Like I was just when they showed like the little boy, I'm like, is that gonna be young Donnie Yen? Like, luckily it's not. I'm like, just because I'm so used to prequel stuff doing that, I'm like, we don't need it. We don't need it.
Yeah, but it does, like you said, it felt a little bit more grounded.
Yeah.
And it does give me, I could see them building out the world in almost a Game of Thrones kind of way, where you see somebody taking over a Continental.
Yeah.
You can have different territories against each other. Like, I didn't like it overall, you know, like I said, but there was enough in it that I enjoyed that I see the potential.
Yeah.
And I like that they can have different tones in the same franchise. John Wick 4 can be a little over the top and ridiculous, but you could still tell more grounded stories in this world.
This kind of reminded me of the MonsterVerse show, Monarch.
Yeah.
How like the movies are kind of getting ridiculous, but then there's like this nice show that's a little bit more as grounded as it can be, I guess. That's in the same universe. And both franchises only did a movie every few years. They're not super oversaturated yet. So yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. I guess the real test will be Ballerina.
Yeah, I'm worried about that movie because they keep delaying it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, are they concerned about this movie?
Have they even shot it yet?
My impression is that it's already shot, I thought.
Oh.
Yeah, actually, definitely, because Lance Reddick is in it. He makes an appearance.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, yeah. We'll see what that's like.
Yeah.
We'll see what that's like. Although Atomic Blonde, which is not related, but it was like more like a spiritual successor, that just kind of came and went.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay.
I never actually saw it, but that's the sentiment I usually hear.
It's okay. It's okay. I never really wanted to watch it again. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the future of John Wick. Now, I think it's pretty obvious what's the best. What is the best John Wick thing so far, Gil?